Hello, so today we are reading Spork, and it's a book I found. It's not super popular, but it's super good, and it's called Kyo Maclear, and again, it's called Spork. And this is the last story time of Pride Month, and I hope that you, I hope it meant something to you that I was able to find all these stories featuring queer children. If you have any other suggestions for me to add to my readings, go ahead and drop a link. And without further ado, Spork. Spork was neither spoon or fork. Fork, spoon, spork. But a bit of both. But Spork stuck out. In his kitchen, forks were forks and spoons were spoons. Cutlery customs were followed closely. Mixing was uncommon. Naturally, there were rule breakers. Knives who loved chopsticks, tongs who married forks, but such families were unusual. One day, after the billionth time, he was asked, "What are you anyway?" And the zillionth time, he was passed over when the table was set. Spork sighed and thought, it must be easier to be a single thing, and he decided he'd try to pick just one thing to be. He thought he should start by fixing his head. He put on a bowler hat to look more spoonish, but the forks thought he was just too round. Then he made a paper crown to look more forkish, but the spoons thought he was too pointy. Spork wondered if there were other lonely creatures out there with no matching kind, who never got chosen to be at the table. At dinner time, he watched from the drawer while the spoons played pea hockey and skillfully balanced boiled eggs. He sat off to the side while the forks raised fancy patterns in the mashed potatoes and twirled noodles around in complicated circles like rhythmic gymnastics. And at the end of this and every other meal, Spork looked on while the others enjoyed a super bubbly bath in the sink. Until one morning, a messy thing was served. This messy thing had obviously never heard of cutlery customs or table manners. No, this messy thing smeared and spilled and flung and chopped and dreamt without a care. "Wait," said the forks, but the messy thing did not wait. "Careful," said the spoons, but the messy thing was not careful. "Help," said the forks, while the messy thing continued to slop and splatter. "Quick," said the spoons. Now, a fork may be good for poking and picking, and a spoon may be fine for scooping and stirring. But this messy thing, with its slurpy and clumpy half-finished food bits, needed something else. Something that could do all sorts of things at once. Something flexible and easy to hold. Something that was neither a spoon nor a fork, but a bit of both. That's when Spork landed. The messy thing saw Spork and immediately stopped and gurgled. It grabbed Spork and held him motionless in its fist. It tapped him once and let out a cheerful shriek. It wagged Spork excitedly up and down. And that's how Spork finally and happily found his way to the table. That end. All right. So that again was Spork. It is by Kyo Maclear. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.